How to start calisthenics, Biggie Guide from Zero. É, nós vamos ver um vídeo de calisthenics. Não sei porque eu tô falando assim, mas vamos lá. Tá? Tá? Olha só que força, gente. Tá doido, é? Nossa, que força.
So you want to start calisthenics. You might be wondering, well, where should I start? Or you might be thinking, wow, there are so many crazy videos of people doing handstands and a full planche, and you're just like, what?
Calistenia é treinar com o próprio peso do seu corpo. Dá pra você usar acessórios, dá pra você usar os pesos corporais, mas a ideia básica é essa. Treinar com o peso do seu corpo. Exercícios mais simples são a base do calistenia, né? Flexão abdominal, barra, aí tem alguns movimentos, que é o L-sit que ela fez ali, que ela fica igual um L assim, com as pernas para frente. Tem o V-sit que é assim, aí tem o handstand que é a mão, é tipo a bananeira parada. Aí ela tá falando que quando as pessoas começam a pesquisar sobre calistenia, elas começam a ver muitos movimentos muito avançados, mas tem que começar do básico.
Where do I start? And people cranking out 100 push ups at a time. Look no
É,
further. I got you. Let's get right into it. So, first, let's just start with the basics. What is calisthenics? Calisthenics is really any body weight training.
foi o que eu acabei de falar, que é treino de corporal.
It can be a handstand, it can be push ups, squats, but really the point is you don't need weights. Not saying that weightlifting is bad, just saying you don't need it for calisthenics. The second thing is that you really don't need a gym to start. That doesn't mean that you can't do it in a gym. Go right ahead, do it wherever, whenever you want to. But that is the point, that you can do calisthenics wherever you want, whenever you want. All you need is a bit of space, not even this much space. You can do it in the strip of space in your bedroom. Whatever you have, you can do it on your carpet.
Eu já fiz calistenia e é muito bom. Cansativo, mas é muito bom. Você sente ter o controle do seu corpo total, funcional, entendeu? Nunca fiz esses movimentos muito difíceis, mas deu pra brincar um pouquinho.
I can show you that
Eu tava aprendendo o frog stand que você coloca o cotovelo antes do handstand. Para de mão.
as well. But the point is, you really don't need anything to start. So you might be a bit overwhelmed when you see a ton of videos on social media of people doing crazy handstands or crazy flexibility. That can definitely be a goal for you, but later down the line. So you might be wondering, why should I listen to you? Why can I trust you? So to start off, I am 24 years old and I started teaching myself calisthenics at age 10 from just Googling things and YouTube videos. Obviously, at the time, those resources weren't as good as they are today. It wasn't very popular, but little 10-year-old me thought, well, this looks cool and I want to do cool things. So
É
that is
tipo
what I
isso.
did, and I didn't have any equipment because I definitely did not go to my parents asking them to buy me some equipment, and they said no because they thought I would get bored of it after 2 days. And it's been now 14, 15 years. Point aside, you really don't need much equipment, and to this day, I really don't have that much equipment. I travel a lot, and that gives me a lot of freedom to be able to work out whenever, wherever I am. But if you're questioning my credibility, I do have some testimonials, I should say. Some of my newest skills are doing handstands on my fingers. That includes press handstands, a Stalder press handstand with weights. And you might also be wondering, well, why do I do handstands on my fingers? Why does she do handstands on a palm and fist? That is a great question. When I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with Kienbock's disease, a form of avascular necrosis, which means the blood supply is cut off to one of the bones in my wrist. It is this wrist, my right wrist. And I had wrist surgery for it when I was 16. My symptoms
Nossa.
had started when I was 14. I had been dealing with limited mobility, a lot of pain, swelling, and it turned out it
Nossa.
was this issue. Now, after the surgery, I can no longer bend my wrist fully, and my wrist kind of looks like this. This is as far as I can bend it. and I can't put my weight all the way flat on my palm, which is why I prefer the fist. Or now that I've gotten
Ah, então ela faz o handstand assim, cara. Ou assim. Ela não faz assim com a palma porque ela sente bastante esse machucado.
the skill doing handstands on my fingers. But that is after many years of training, not saying it's going to take you that long either. That is why I prefer to do handstands on my fingers and why you will probably always see me doing handstands on palm and fist. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to do is remove your excuses. There are no excuses for
Remove suas desculpas, meu amigo.
starting calisthenics other than what is in your mind. You don't need equipment. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need to say, oh, I'll start in a few days. I'll start on Monday. It's a new week. I'll start
Você não precisa de plano.
yada, yada, yada.
Tudo na vida, né? Tem gente que pensa demais e não faz. Eu sou uma pessoa dessa.
Just start now. You can start now. There are no excuses. Think about it like this. Make a mini mindset shift that calisthenics starts the moment you move your body, whether that's doing a couple of push-ups or knee push-ups, a couple of squats, anything where you are moving your body weight training, that is what calisthenics is, and you are doing it. The biggest barrier people ask me when starting calisthenics is, oh, but I don't have space, I don't have a mat, I don't have the equipment. One, you don't need any equipment. You don't even need a mat. It might make things a bit more comfortable, but you don't need anything. You can start your incline push-ups using your couch. You can do any of that. Next, evaluate your starting point. The point is to train from where you are, not where you think you should be. Again, it's very easy to compare yourself to these crazy influencers and creators who are, yes, they're very talented. They put in a lot of work to do those tricks, but they're not you. You're not them. So you can't compare yourself to people who are doing many hours of training a day or have many years of training under your belt. Chances are you're probably not going to get it the first try. And that's okay. The point is that you try now, you start now. So some simple tests that you can do to see where you are starting is how many push-ups can you do? Can you do regular push-ups or can you do knee push-ups? Or you can do wall push-ups, incline push-ups, whatever those push-ups are. Test how many push-ups you can do, and that is a good indicator of where you are starting from. Another thing you
É
can
isso aí,
do
porque quanto maior a inclinação, mais fácil você faz. Então, se você não consegue fazer a flexão no chão, você inclina um pouquinho, faz um pouco de altura. Se não consegue, na verdade, se não consegue fazer a flexão no chão, você faz de joelho. Se não conseguir, faz um pouquinho de altura. Aí vai aumentando até achar um ponto de partida seu.
is squats. See how many squats you can do. If you can do a lot of squats, then you know that you're at a good starting point. If you can do maybe 30 air squats in a row, that's great. 50, great. 10, that's also good. But just evaluate where you are and see how many you can do. The next thing you can do is test your shoulder strength and core strength. So you can do this really by just holding a plank, an elbow plank. That's very simple. And you can time yourself, see how long you can do it for. You can also test
Elbow
out
plank é aquela prancha. Para treinar abdômen é uma delícia, meu filho.
how long you can hold a dead hang, for example. If you have a bar or anything like that, just basically hold on and see how long you can hang from it for. You can try both hands, you can try one hand, but just time yourself, and that's also a good indicator of your grip strength. The point is, don't get discouraged with where you're starting from. Everyone starts somewhere, and yes, that is a super cliche thing to say, but the sooner you get over your starting point, the faster you can really get started. And remember, this is information, not judgment. It's totally fine. If you can't do a push-up right now, that is totally fine. If you can only do it from your knees, that is fine too. Any starting point is okay, as long as you start. Number 3, set simple short-term goals. Goals should be motivating, not intimidating.
Seja
And they also
simples com
need
suas
to be
metas.
specific. You can tell yourself, oh, I want to get stronger this year, or I have a goal of losing weight, or something like that. I have a goal of building muscle. And those are all great goals, but they're very broad. They're not specific enough, and chances are you're going to lose yourself in the process and not reach your goal. It's also easy for you to have a goal starting out of, I want to do a full planche, which is a very hard calisthenics skill to get. And that's a great long-term goal, but having shorter, measurable goals in between will help you get there sooner. Because if I say I just want to do a full planche, what is the training plan? How can I get there? There is no time frame. I have no idea if I'll ever achieve it. You can think motivation, your determination is enough, and it might be for some people, but for most people, measurable, small goals are the way to go. So these can be things like, I want to do 5 push-ups if you can't do any push-ups. Or your goal can be to do 1 full push-up as opposed to 1 push-up from your knees, or an incline push-up. Another goal you can have is your dead hang. So let's say you can only hold your dead hang for 10 seconds. Let's try for 20. Once you hit 20, let's try for 30. But
Sempre
having a
dificultar isso
measurable
mesmo.
goal helps a lot. Another goal people have is doing a handstand, which is probably the most popular, common calisthenic skill. Another great goal to have, keep in the back of your mind. But in the meantime, you can start with the goal of doing a 10-second wall handstand, or you can start with a wall handstand and doing drills like that. 10-second wall handstand is better than just generally saying doing a handstand. Now,
Vai
after
ser o
you
wall handstand, deve ser o handstand na parede, pelo nome, né? Aqui é que você fica apoiado. E o handstand normal você faz aqui em qualquer lugar.
achieved your 10-second handstand, then you can move on to another measurable goal of telling yourself, oh, my next goal is that I want to do a 3-second freestanding handstand. And once you hit 3 seconds, 5, 10, 15 seconds, and just increase it from there. Basically, you just want to avoid general goals. If you tell yourself, I want to get abs, I want to look shredded, I want to get stronger, all those things like that, again, great goals, but they're not actually helpful. You need measurable goals, and you want them to be very small and specific so that you can achieve them along the way, and they are an indicator that you are making progress too. Number 4, choose a structure you'll stick to. Another thing people get overwhelmed with when starting calisthenics is a routine. In my mind, there are 2 paths you can take. The first one is having set days of the week. Maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but you have set days or set times that you have cut out for yourself to train, and that is your routine. The other option
Aí a
is
pessoa não cria uma rotina e fala assim, vou fazer segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, domingo eu vou descansar, mas aí domingo de tarde eu faço também. E aí não sustenta, não consegue fazer a rotina certinho.
more flexible approach, and that is telling yourself, I want to do this 3 times a week, 2 times a week. And it doesn't really matter what day as long as you get it done. Now, the only issue with this is that you might procrastinate in the week. You might find yourself realizing that you left yourself Friday, Saturday, Sunday for those 3 times a week, and maybe you made yourself sore the first day, and now it's the weekend, and now you have plans and life gets busy. So just keep that in mind when you are setting a routine for yourself. Now, I'm not saying that one path is better than the other, but if you do need structure, I would say routine days of the week are better than telling yourself, oh, I'm flexible and I just want to do this 3 times a week. Now, that is more of a general goal. If you're good with general goals and you know yourself and you know you can still hit them, then that's a great option for you. But if you need more structure, picking days of the weeks and times of days can be very helpful in achieving your goals. The point is consistency over perfection.
É
As
isso
long
aí,
as you do
consistência. Consistência é melhor que perfeição. Melhor, maior. Consistência. Você pode não ser bom. Eu falo, eu não sou bom, mas eu sou consistente. Eu vou conseguir. Eu sou esforçado.
it, it's better than not doing it at all. You don't need the perfect routine. It's okay if you slip up. It's okay if you miss a training session.
No longo prazo eu sempre ganho. No longo prazo eu sempre tô lá, meu filho.
It's okay. It's all okay as long as the effort is still there and that you'll continue to do it long term. And the most important thing to remember is that a missed day of training does not mean failure. You're not a failure if maybe you wanted to go out with friends one night or you have an important event and you can't miss it. It's all about consistency because life happens. We all get busy and that's okay. And just finding pockets of time throughout your day. That's what I do. Personally, I find that when I fit in training throughout my day, I enjoy it way more than actually having a 2-hour long session. That doesn't mean that I don't have a super long training sessions. I do, but I often really like just doing a random handstand throughout my day and it just makes me happy. So if that's you, maybe you more have pockets of 10 minutes of time or something like that. You can do a 10-minute workout then just a couple times a day or a couple times a week, and that is better than nothing. So now let's get into some common beginner mistakes I see. The very first one I would say is doing too much. I know calisthenics can be super exciting, and when you see that video of the coolest handstand you've ever seen and you just want to be able to do it right now, trust me, I get it. But if you do too much your first day and then end up needing a full week to recover, maybe that wasn't the best option to do, to go all out the first day. And the next thing would be just to know your limits. So you can maybe try the skill, but if you injure yourself, again, that puts you at risk of maybe taking off more training days than you'd like to or impacting your regular normal life. And that's never something you want to do. You want calisthenics to be additive to your life, to add something good, to add strength, to add positivity, to achieve positive goals rather than to take away things like having an injury and not being able to walk. The second most common mistake I hear is comparing yourself to other athletes. Now, this is very common, especially when posting online. I know I have people in my comments telling me, have you heard of this person? Or maybe you're not as good as this person, or you're way better than this person. It all doesn't really matter because in the end, it's you against yourself. Everyone has different starting points. Maybe some people have done certain sports in their life that make it easier for them to achieve certain goals because they have a foundation of strength, whatever it is. Or some people have some setbacks. For example, my wrist issue. I will never be able to do certain moves because my wrist would simply break off and it would cause too much pain. It would cause permanent damage. And that is not something that I am welcoming into my life. I want calisthenics to be a great movement outlet for me, and I don't want to compare myself, don't want to take the joy away. At the end of the day, I'm happy when I achieve a goal that I thought of myself, that I set for myself. So don't compare yourself to others. It's you against you. The third most common mistake
Você
is
contra
quitting too
você.
early. Now I get it. It might take you
Sempre você contra você. Talvez a pessoa fica focando em outra, mas sempre é você contra você. Se superar. É seu, sua melhor versão. Ah, mas o fulano de tal tá daquele jeito. Mas ele nem tá ligando pra você. Ele tá tentando bater a versão dele.
a long time to get a skill. The reality is you might not get a skill within the first few days, first few weeks, first few months even. Not to say that you will. There are definitely skills that you can get within a week or within your first month of calisthenics, but the more you do it, the longer you do it, the longer it will take to achieve this skill. For example, I have been working on skills that have taken me years to accomplish. Sometimes I get it and then I lose it. I get it and I lose it. And it's
Tá, então tem algumas habilidades que ela pegou que é anos que ela falou. Aí ela consegue, depois perde. Depois consegue de novo, depois perde.
like I'm balancing on that line and it's so close, but I'm not giving up. And neither should you. So don't quit too early. Don't get discouraged if you don't get the skill as fast as you want to. That's okay. As long as you stay consistent, that is what matters. And then another common mistake is over planning instead of actually just doing it. You can have the best set plan in your mind of I'm going to do cardio on these days, weightlift on these days, and do some skill training on these days. Or you can think of it as, oh, you know,
Quem muito planeja não faz. Tem gente que fica planejando. Ah, vou começar hoje, igual hoje. Hoje é quinta. Não vou começar quinta não, porque quinta já tá na metade de semana, já vai chegar sexta, sábado, e já é final de semana. Vou começar segunda, que já começa a semana. Aí chega segunda, acontece uma coisa. Não, mas então terça não dá, tem que ser segunda que vem.
no, it's 2026 and I want to start calisthenics and I need to start all in right now. that might be not the best mindset to have, because you might overwhelm yourself and plan so much ahead into the future that you don't actually give yourself time to check in with yourself, see how you're doing. How are you feeling? How are these skills progressing? Are you getting the skills? Are you making progress? Or do you keep just overtraining, overtraining, overtraining? Or even just telling yourself that you're going to start the next Monday, and Monday comes along and, oh, well, maybe you're tired. Well, like the next week I'll start because it's so much better than the last week. I had a very, very busy week, but then you realize that every week is busy and you're just over planning instead of starting. So remember, there is no barrier to start. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You can do it in your pajamas. Trust me, I have done it before. So there is no barrier to start, and you don't need that much of a plan actually,
Não existe começo lindo, lindo,
as long
lindo.
as you start moving as soon as possible. So just to recap, how to start calisthenics. Remove your excuses layer. There
Remove suas
are
desculpas.
no excuses to starting. The sooner you start moving is the sooner you are starting calisthenics. 2. Evaluate your starting point. See
Evaluate. Eu não sei o que é evaluate, mas para o passo do começo, to start point.
how many push-ups you can do, how many air squats, how long you can hang from a bar from, can you do a handstand? Do you already have a strength foundation, or are you starting from zero? Either one is fine as long as you know
Evaluation é tipo avaliar o que você consegue fazer ou
where
não.
you're starting from. 3. Set simple, measurable, short
Coloque metas simples, mensuráveis e de curto prazo.
term goals. Listen to your body, see what you can do. Once you hit that goal, set another measurable goal that you can do right after that.
Ouve
It
seu
might take
corpo.
maybe another few weeks of training. But the point is, you're always progressing up, 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 and not having this huge overarching goal with no plan of getting there. 4. Choose a structure you'll stick to. You can choose
Escolha a
a
estrutura
routine,
que te
a set
adapte.
day, and or a set time. Or you can be more flexible, training 3 times a week, twice a week, once a week. The point is that it's consistency over perfection.
Questão
As
de
long as you're
planejamento,
doing
então.
it, it's better than not doing it at all. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions on my background or my wrist injury or all the sports I did, because I was in a ton of sports growing up, please let me know in the comments and I will try to
Ela
answer
fez
them to
bastante
the best of my
esportes.
ability. If you're wondering what kinds of exercises or workouts you can do as a beginner, I have some videos on those as well in short form videos, but I will be coming out with a follow along beginner workout as well as what I do for my own training sessions. So thank you for watching, and I hope this gave you a little bit of motivation, reassurance, and maybe information on how to start calisthenics. I hope it seems less intimidating.
É isso aí, gente. Vai se exercitar. Sai desse computador um pouquinho. Celular. Vai se exercitar. Se exercitar.